Welcome back to the second day, to the second session of this 4-day exhaustion. um, so what's being suggested is, and this is what's always suggested in usually in speakers and teachers, that there is no need for perfection because everything is already perfect. But when there's a need for perfection, that's also what's happening. So what? There's no need for freedom when everything is already free. But when there is this feeling of bondage or freedom or not having freedom, that's also what's happening. There's no need for enlightenment. There's nothing to attain because everything is already awakeness. But when there's a seeking for something, is that nullified as well? No, it's just what's happening. There's nothing wrong or right about anything. There's no need for self-improvement because there's no self. This is often said. But when that arises, so what? So what's being expressed here is the so whatness of whatever is arising, because everything is nothing. Nothing is everything. If there is this feeling of residue or, I'm almost there, that's also what's happening. Or there's a feeling that I'm almost there, I got this. So what? Or there's this need for change. Their need for whatever arises is so what? It's just what's occurring. There's nothing that can control that or change that anyway. The seeming obstacle is, although there's no obstacle, is that trying to change that. I wish I was no longer seeking. I wish I was already free. Even when it's being discussed that it's already free, if there is a feeling that it's still not free, that's what's also occurring. There's no distinction in the noise in silence. Everything is a distortion. The need or no need for that, the coming into conclusion or not coming into conclusion, the clarity and the confusion, because these are just all thoughts. These are all ideas. There's no conclusion, there's no destination to what's being talked about. So whatever arises, arises. It's changing. As I mentioned earlier, they're just appearances. And the getting stuck in the appearances is also what's happening. If there is this feeling that it's limited, that it wished for something else, that's also what's occurring. But when it's seen that these are just appearances, then the neurosis or the holding on to these belief systems is just seen as noise. No one can control anything because there's no one at all. But somehow there's this wish for, or even the belief that it has arrived somewhere. So what? There's no me, there's me, so what? Why not? Because all of these, as I mentioned, are just this distraction, beautiful illusion, and this clarity of nothing. So whatever arises cannot be diminished, cannot be denied, cannot be changed, because it's what's happening. Since there's no one in what's happening, or even if there's a feeling there's someone in what's happening, and that's also what's happening, nothing can change what's happening. It's already changing. It's already flowing. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be eliminated. It cannot be distinguished. It cannot be limited. It cannot be whatever, because all of that are just thoughts. All of those are just ideas of something that does not even exist. but apparently feels completely real. When someone is completely stuck, or someone is seemingly seeking in a circle over and over again, that's just what's happening, but it's also not happening. Sometimes there is this pain, you know what I'm saying? When it's being said that this is already perfect, this is it. There's nothing to find. And there's this incompleteness feeling that, well, I don't see it. I don't understand the simplicity. This is really confusing. You're saying it's clear, it's really obvious, but it's not obvious here. So what? That's also what's appearing. There's nothing wrong or right about anything. It's just what's happening. But there's a weight sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And there's sometimes kind of like an agony, right? That, yeah, you know what? You can say that, Emerson. There's no suffering or there's no problem, but there seems to be a problem here. There seems to be contraction. You're talking about boundlessness, you're talking about emptiness, but it doesn't feel empty. What I'm trying to say is that me talking about emptiness and you talking about contraction are the same shit. So what? There's nothing special here. And that seems to be what's thought about. There must be something really special with this character, that that he is talking about this boundlessness, emptiness. There's nothing to figure out. Everything is already figured out. Everything is already complete. But that's just another noise. Because what's being talked about here doesn't have any thoughts, doesn't have any ideas, doesn't have any definitions. It's not arriving somewhere. It's contradicting itself. Because if there's no one here, there's also no one there. But if there's a feeling there that there's someone there, and that's completely all right. What's wrong with that? Everything is empty already. Everything is already nothing, even when it doesn't feel like it. Everything is already complete, already perfect, or whatever words that might arise. So what? Petra.
Hi, I found the door. Every door leads to nothing. Like
yes. There it is. That's the
There
holy
it is.
door of nothing. Oh, thank you, Petra. My job is done. Thank you, everyone. You found it. You've entered the door of nothing. It leads to nothing, and it's just perfect. Look at that. Wow. Beautiful. How are you, Petra?
Yeah, I'm fine. Hi. Yeah, it's I'm fine. I'm happy tomorrow I have a day off and we can spend the whole day together. But this is
Yes.
also nice. Yeah, that I
Yeah.
found the door to nothing. Yes.
Yes, perfect. We'll post this, and we'll charge a fee now,
Yeah.
The door to nothing. It always leads to nothing. Perfect. Thank
See you
you.
later.
Thank you. Thank you. Or let's continue with that apparent idea that if there is whatever is occurring, someone will say that, well, meditation feels better, or whatever. So what if that's what feels good? That's what is. That's also emptiness. That's also whatever. I can't help but listen to this communication, but I hate it. That's also what's happening. There's peacefulness when this is seemingly listened to, and there's this, it's so what? Everything is so what? Everything is up in the air because it's really nothing. There's nothing that has been figured out here. There's just this resonance. This resonance that this is all empty, and whatever arises cannot be changed because that's just what's happening. It's all changing in the unchangeable. The negotiator is happening along with the non-negotiable. The wholeness and the separation appearing simultaneously. So what? It's not about figuring it out. It's not about getting to wherever. It's not about a destination because there's no destination. But if you feel that there's a destination, that's also what's happening. Since there's no here and there, there's just peacefulness in everything. If there's identification with what's happening, that's what's just happening. Who cares? When it's said that there's perfection in everything, there's perfection in whatever happens. There's completeness in whatever's happening. Even the feeling that this is not complete is completeness as well. When it's unconditional freedom, and there's a feeling that I am not free, that's also unconditional freedom. Okay, there's sorry, I have to put on my glasses. Just a second. I can't. I have these empty glasses because it glares. So just a second. Let me put on my Harry Potter glasses. You can't say anything like that when some people they are suffering. It might be an illusion, okay, but as long as the illusion is believed, it might never disappear. The fact it isn't true just a belief. Why not believing in God and angels and so on? What is just being expressed here is that whatever arises was whatever arises. It's not about trying to change it or whatever. It's just what is. And if the feeling of trying to change it or trying to feel better is also what is, what's being expressed is whatever occurs is occurring, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. Even the idea that I can do something about it is just what's happening. It's the so whatness and everything, that's everything that's occurring, cannot be changed. Because no one has any control of anything. Even if they think that they have a control of something, it's just what's occurring. If, for example, if there's suffering happening and if there's probably therapy that needs to happen, that's also what's happening. There's nothing that can be changed about it. It's either going to happen or not. There's nothing that anyone can do to control anything because, as I said, kind of like in the analogy, it's driving by itself. It's going to stop or it's going to turn right or left, but there's no one driving it. There's no one in control. But even if there's something, there's a feeling that there's someone in control, that I have control of it, that's also what's happening. That's what's occurring, apparently. What's just being expressed is there's no conclusion to anything. There's no definite. Since no one is choosing to do anything, whatever is happening is just a happening. It's just an appearance. And even the belief that it is real, it's just another appearance, but it's just what's happening. It's the unconditional freedom in whatever is occurring, including the feeling that there's suffering or whatever. That's also what is.
Emerson,
Hi.
huge idea.
Hello.
You said before the first part you have enough, the costume party or something. But now every 5 minutes you wear another glasses without the glasses.
It's for editing purposes, so I know which video
every
is.
5 minutes you change your dress, so I don't know what you talk about really.
So what?
I don't know. I'm glad for you drink something. I don't know. I finished drinking 10 years ago, so definitely I'm okay. So just this, okay?
It's just whatever is happening.
That doesn't matter anyway.
Doesn't matter, yeah. Yeah. Nick goes, what would you say that every thought is a conclusion? A conclusion is just a thought. So a thought does not really exist. And even that is just another thought. Everything that occurs, everything that comes out, seemingly is a thought. In the absence of thought, what seems to be clear is that there's nothing. No conclusions, no destinations, no belief, no understanding, no idea. Thank you, Nick. Oliver. Hello.
Emerson.
Hi.
It does feel though that it might be that there is some that there is some free will, or that there is free will, or it might be that there is none. How to know? How could it be certain?
Yeah, there's nothing certain. The only thing that was obvious here is that there's no one here. So free will arises from someone, a belief arises from someone. Did you hear that? Sorry?
How was it? So you say,
yeah, what was obvious with the... Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, because it's the most frequent thing I've heard, that it is certain that there is no one.
Yeah.
How was this certain?
There's this obviousness. There's no one. It's kind of like, as I said, in a dream analogy, right? There's a dream that seems to kind of like there's this real happening. There's a character and everything. When there's a scene that everything is just a dream, so there's no history, there's no belief, there's no understanding. So it's just this wordless that can't even be explained. This undeniable freedom, but it does not belong to anyone. It's hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's just a collapse of when the belief system, the believer in the belief system is seen as the same. So everything that it believes, including time, free will, whatever seems to happen, is gone. You know what I'm saying? It's collapsed. It's kind of like, okay, there's nothing really happening. The only thing that is seemingly obvious is the peacefulness in everything. The nothingness in everything. It's not coming into conclusion. It's even adds, even the name of this retreat is unknowable nothing, because no one knows. There's just this obviousness, that there's nothing happening, because everything that was thought that was happening is all belief, is all ideas, is all thoughts, is all understanding. So when that is seen as not happening, that there's no believer, no one experiencing, no one here, no one there, it's kind of like a big wow in the beginning, like, wow, there's nothing at all. And then there's this obviousness that there's nothing even happening. It's just the naturalness. That's even saying too much. This is just apparently what's happening. Kind of like what I was saying earlier in the opening, that whatever seems to happen is what's happening, but it's only apparently. It's not about getting rid of it. It's just, so if there's a belief there that there's free will, that's also just what's happening. When it's seen that the believer and the belief are identical, nothing, when it's seen in not completeness, that's a word. See, it's hard to talk about it because I can't say absolute or totality, because that's coming to a conclusion. I can only say in this emptiness that doesn't have any definitions, the undefinable nothingness, everything is just this mystery, this overflowing obviousness that there's nothing that can be figured out, that there's no one here because there's no one to figure it out. There's no one that has been, what do you call it? There's no one that can hold on to anything anymore, because that's seen as transparent. Everything is seen as transparently empty. Kind of like how quantum physicists see it, that everything is just this spaciousness and the particles are just appearances. That this is
It
99
can't be
point.
seen,
It can't.
right?
It can
It
be seen.
cannot be
Particles
seen.
can be seen, but it's also empty. Like, it's going back into science, this is 99.99% empty space. But somehow it appears as a solid, apparent human being. That's the appearance. It's also been seen in science that there is no time, but somehow we're moving in time. The nodding of the head, the talking. It's also said that this is just all silence. Again, these are just suggestions, right? There's silence and somehow we're talking and listening. How is that happening? So this is the impossibility that seems to be happening, but it's not really happening because there's a running illusion that support that this is reality. But really there's no reality. And that's even saying too much. Because the reality is just conjured up. It's just the belief. This is my reality. This is reality. This is the absolute reality. This is the true nature. What's being expressed in the opening statement is that everything that comes up is just fluff. It's just ideas, right? So everything that I'm saying is also noise. But this noise is obvious that it's noise. It's not trying to make a noise into this grand statement that I am free, I am special, because it's just noise. It's just distortion. Any words, any ideas that come up, any kind of like landing, any kind of definitive answer. It's vague. So what I'm trying to say. There's this vagueness here. There's this obviousness that everything is vague, that everything is a mystery. There's no landing. So when it's seen that even the running around in circle, the suffering is pointless, it loses its traction. You're like, okay, there's really no meaning to anything. Oh, what I believe was true is just an idea. Oh, all my beliefs are just ideas. Oh, the one that believes all of this is also just an idea. Oh my goodness, it's just a dream. Nothing's really happening. But I can't explain it because there's no one here that can explain it. This is like a bird chirping, a dog barking. Nothing special to it. And it keeps on getting expressed that there's nothing, nothing, nothing. And then seemingly there's also this attraction to nothing. Like, well, I want that nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Question here. So it's total collapse. So it's death. Yes. It's like death. It's like that there's no one has ever existed. There's no birth or there's no death. Because there's no time. So how can something begin or end? You can also say deathlessness. Again, all of these are just ideas on trying to express something that does not have any idea. The immediacy, the intimacy, the directness of what's being spoken about cannot be caught in words because it doesn't exist in thoughts. It's not an idea. It's not a concept. It's not a story. Although everything that I'm saying is an idea, a concept, and a story. Noise. Nice noise. David.
Hey.
Hey.
So, question.
Yes.
Is this mystery an inevitability of complexity?
It's not really complex when complexity is just another idea, right? So this
Yeah.
is not complex and it's not simple. Let's just put it that way, because those are just ideas. It's beyond those ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even beyond idea is also another idea. So there's no way out of ideas.
But this thing
Yeah.
that's called awareness or consciousness
Yeah.
seems to only arise, it is said, or you hear, I don't know if I agree with it or not, but
Yeah.
in the human form. And it's also said that the human brain is the most complex thing in the universe. So my question really is if humans develop computers to have the same complexity, at some point does awareness or self-awareness suddenly occur? And if there are alien species and they visit the Earth, do they have sufficiently complex brains that they are also self-aware? Or are they all Emersons? Have they already seen the light?
Yeah, since this is appearing in timelessness, everything that appears in this timelessness is stillness, appearing as ideas about, complexities or brains or human beings or aliens. All of them are just unknowable. All of them basically are unknown, right? Because there's really nothing that's happening. In the story, anything can arise. I just kind of like, I just quoted Schrodinger. About something about, this is just particle and everything. But that's just also another idea. Everything is an idea. So what's just being expressed here is everything. All that there is this, and there's nothing outside of this stillness. So all of that is appearing in stillness, including history, development, are all illusory. But who knows? Because there's no one here.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's a mystery.
It's a mystery, yeah.
It can't be solved. It doesn't need to be solved.
It doesn't need to be solved, yeah. Because it just, there was a time when I was seeking that it was driving me insane. So I would read about simulation. I would read about, computer, kind of like this is a computer simulated world and everything. But see, whatever arises in this spaciousness, in this emptiness. I don't really like using the word awareness because there's a personalization to it. This is not personal, because when it's seen that there's no one conscious, there's no one aware. And those words are usually attached with I am aware, I'm conscious. Although it can easily be said, someone could also say that I am emptiness, which is just another idea. But it's less personal than that. Does that make any sense? So when it's seen that everything is appearing, everything is a particle or a dream in deep sleep, or everything is an illusion in this unknown mystery, unknowable nothing, then it's seen that everything that occurs, every single idea is just an idea. There's nothing behind it. It always leads to nothing. It's kind of like going to the rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole leads to nothing. It's like, oh, it's really nothing.
Yeah, but I can't stop thinking. I hear what you're saying. I hear that, but I can't stop thinking unless I plan my dinner tonight, I'm going to go hungry.
Yes,
I'm
of
gonna have to eat
course.
something.
Of course, of course.
That's just what's happening.
Yeah, that's just what's happening, because there's an appearance of time, that you're moving through time and space. Yeah. It's kind of like you're in a movie, but you can't press pause, or you can't jump out of the movie.
Yeah.
Because you are the movie.
So if speculating,
and there's no you.
If speculating on the story is what is apparently happening.
Yeah.
Even though that there's no meaning to any of that.
There's no meaning, yeah.
It doesn't take away any potential truth.
There's no truth
from that, though, does it?
Yeah. Again, every idea.
There is truth. There is truth, because this is a dualistic experience.
Yeah.
So for the person within that dualistic bubble, there is right and wrong and good
there
and bad.
Is, yeah, there's this perception of that. Yeah, there's this perception of that.
But the claim,
and there's nothing wrong or right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the claim that there is an absolute is the claim that there is a truth. Yeah, exactly.
There's no absolute. Yeah. Exactly. Again, there's no. As I said, everything that arises is just a happening that's also unhappening at the same time. And there's this mystery that cannot be figured out of why it's happening and who is it happening to, because there's nothing.
Yeah. But for Emerson's obviousness, and that's a word that you'll use, it's just, it's seen that it's obvious that X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So Emerson can have his obviousness. David can have his obviousness.
But the obviousness is that there's no Emerson and there's no David. And that's basically it. Yeah. So it's not personalized, right?
Okay, so the expression that there is an obviousness.
Yeah.
Versus
again, it's just noise. Again, it's just noise, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Attempting to kind of like attempting to know or to figure out what it is just another noise. So you're figuring out a noise by adding noise to it. It's all noise. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's an attempt to know. It's an attempt to have a discussion and speculate on
even speculation is noise
on the what could be's or the what.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love these conversations, speculations, and trying to figure out, although there's nothing that can be figured out.
Like you say, there's nothing right or wrong with it. It's just what might be happening.
It might be what's happening. Yeah, there's nothing right or wrong with it, because nothing at all.
I get there are no answers, but in the story, in the apparent universe, anything is possible. So
for sure.
So there could
be an alien landing at this. There could be alien landing or UFOs right now.
Yeah. There can be truthful explanations, and yet you can say, right, but it's all empty.
It's all empty. Yeah, it's all empty.
Yeah.
There could be Godzilla, happening right now, you know what I'm saying, in Japan or whatever, but that's all appearances, right?
But the experience is not empty.
It's all emptiness because there's no experiencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that's obvious is there's no one, right? So anything that is coming up from someone is seen as illusory. So experiencing, knowing, understanding is basically seen as collapsed, right? You're kind of like, oh, there's nowhere to go. It's just this. It's almost kind of like it's like the hopelessness, and that there's no hope, that there's no whatever, is the unconditional freedom that's happening. Yeah, because there's no one that is free or not free. Yeah, because everything is seemingly personalized or independently viewed.
Okay, thanks.
Love these talks with you, David.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna put... I went to the dictionary, looked up meaning, which described meaning with other words. It was an endless cycle to witness that all words are only description stories. All sounds words are simply a description of a description. A useful exercise for this fool. What does this mean? Meaningless, more meaningless. Yes. It's hilarious that there's just this wholeness, right? That there is just this nothing, and everything that arises, words, meanings, definitions, everything is nothing. But somehow there's this dualistic understanding which can only appear in dualism, which is an illusion. And that's what's seen, that when everything collapses, there's only a singular thing that collapses, the illusion that I am separate. So when the I am is seen as the illusion, and like, oh, so everything that it conjures up is an illusion. Words, definitions, whatever seems to appear. Yeah, just empty labels to nothing. Yes, I like that. There seems to be a labeling in wholeness, right? So there's a labeling in nothing. There's a labeling in this character, that character, brick, whatever. It's like putting post-it notes into something that's whole and pretending that they're separate. Or putting post-it notes to nothing, or labels, and then calling that this and that and having their own definition, but it's all empty. What does that mean? I don't know. Nothing means anything. Robert.
Hi, Emerson.
Hi.
I really liked your discussion with David. I really liked
Yeah,
David's
yeah.
questions.
Yeah, I like it too.
Um,
Yeah.
While I was listening to that, I mean, that's a story, but I realized something. I really realized that anytime I'm trying to meditate or trying to do anything, there is this hope that it will lead somewhere inherent. I can't do something without hoping that it's going to lead somewhere
Yeah.
or expecting it something.
Yeah.
And I really clocked that, and I was like, whoa. And I guess I'm trying to remember what it did lead to a question for me. It was yeah. So anyway, my question is kind of, and this might be strange, but I hear a lot of like teachers and speakers like talk about distinguishing understanding something intellectually and experiencing
Yeah.
it directly.
Yeah.
And when that clicked for me intellectually, I felt like I experienced it directly. So I'm curious if something clicking intellectually can lead to like a direct experience of something, where's this border between intellectual and direct?
When it's called direct, why does it have to lead to something when it's already direct? I'm really confused about that. When someone is saying that this is a direct thing, but you have to do this to get there. You have to intellectually understand this, or there's a pointer to this one. It doesn't make sense. When it's direct. So whatever seems to appear is directly what is happening and not happening at the same time. What is just noise in this emptiness, right? It's not about getting rid of anything. It's not about whatever. But if getting rid of something through meditation is happening, then that's what also happening. There's no one choosing to do anything. There's no one that can do anything because there's no one that has a free will or choice. So whatever occurs is what's occurring, and so what? But trying to understand it, trying to intellectually, kind of like an illusion, trying to intellectualize an illusion will only intellectualize an illusion. So an illusion can only function in illusion. An idea can only create ideas. There's no way. It's just this circular thing. It's just this it's just this loop. It's just looping. I tried all of that, you know what I'm saying, as a seeker, as a teacher actually. I was trying to teach people to try to notice this, observe this.
Yes.
Follow your thoughts. You know, all that kind of stuff. Notice. Who's knowing? What's the mind? Well, somebody will say, the mind will do this and that. You are just reinserting that there is a mind. Right? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It has a lot of holes in it, right? It's just so confusing when it's being directly kind of like, this is a direct pointer to what is. Follow your thoughts and abide in awareness. There's a process there.
Yeah, because I feel like
you go ahead.
I feel like listening to this is I think it's called Jnana yoga or something. It's the path of knowledge. It's the path of truth
I did
seeking.
that too.
And I feel like this communication and this retreat is kind of, I guess, sort of that school, I guess, of like knowledge, and it feels like intellectual. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it without implying like this cause and effect, and then I just feel stupid, like, because I know that that's not what. No. I know that that's not what we're supposed to be talking about here. So. But yeah, I don't know.
This is
I don't
kind
know
of
how to
like
ask
a
it without
poking at things and seeing that it's all empty.
Yeah.
This is kind of like an exploration, or not exploration, an expression that everything that seems to appear is coming from an idea, and all the ideas are just this distortion. There are no thoughts, there are no ideas. They're just this apparition, this particle, this appearance in spaciousness, in emptiness. Deep sleep and the dream of something that I have to figure out. The dream of intelligence, the dream of knowing. This is not about knowing. There's no intelligence in this. It appears as, knowing or whatever, but that's just another story.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like the transparent. This is a transparent expression that what seems to be happening, like wisdom, knowledge, is all empty because there's no time. So how can there be knowledge when there's no time? How can there be an
Right.
understanding when there's no time? How can there be intelligence when there's no time? So everything that is personalized, everything that is independently thought of as an attainment is being expressed as empty. Because if there's no time, how can there be individuals? How can be you and me?
So
It's just
everything that
presenting that.
so everything that just happened and that I just talked about, that's
That didn't
just
happen.
a story. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just made all that shit up in
There's
my
no
head.
you actually that made it up.
Wow. Oh my god. Damn. I can't believe
It's
I
just
took that
happening
seriously.
automatically. It's just this all at onceness, right? This all at onceness. There is in this unconditional all at onceness. I keep on adding words to what's being expressed here. There is a seeming process. There's the illusion that I made this up, but there's no past tense. There's no present tense. There's no future tense, because that signifies time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So this is timeless, and the impossibility that seems to be happening is there's in timelessness and complete stillness, there's this, I'm trying to understand this. I can't understand this. That's the illusion. This empty and this fullness of, I think I have a free will or choice. I know I'll get there some way. There's this jnana yoga. Since there's no time, how could there be history? How could there be a future? When it's being expressed that it's already here, meaning that it has never left, because it can never leave because there's no time. It's permanent. All of this impermanent, all of this temporary stuff, like, oh, I thought that, I was intelligent or empty or whatever, are temporary illusions. Illusions are temporal, and there's this permanence which is rejected all the time, of emptiness in everything, including the illusions. It's empty.
Thank you, Alison.
Thank you.
You have a way with words. I'm not sure what I was
I
expecting.
don't know
but
that's what's happening.
yeah, right. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. You know what? I'm just going to put on these other glasses because sorry about the glare. Okay, there we go. The direct can just be a sense of resonance. Yeah, that could also be expressed that way. The all at onceness idea seems very central to this message. Yeah, somewhat. You know what I'm saying? That's just another idea, though, right? But what's seen is when there is no one. So the someone, the character, the me, the I, when it's void, then there's no time. The timekeeper is you, but there's no you. So how could there be time? Again, it's like a house of cards of illusions, right? If you take out one card, it collapses. If there's no time, then how is it possible that you were born or you will die? If there's no you, how could there be time? It's simple, but it can't be thought of. It's not an idea. Because time is an idea and you are an idea. A really real and unreal apparent experience. But when time is taken out of the equation, how does experience happen? Oh. How is anything possible? How does even logic or understanding happen? What's going on? Nothing's going on. Yeah. Simplifying it again. So when they're seeing that there's no one here, then everything is nothing. Nothing is everything. There's no subject object. There's no understanding or misunderstanding. Every concept and ideas are just concepts and ideas.
I really want to know what concept is connected to this class. What's wrong with it?
This is just an exposure that concepts are just concepts, and coming from a concept, it's all conceptual.
Yeah, okay, but what's wrong with this class then?
What's I don't get it.
What's wrong with this class then?
Nothing.
Okay. I finished to talk with you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, what? I don't know what's happening. Just a second. There we go. I was watching that film, reminded me of Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It's about multi-verses. I don't know if you guys seen that movie. It's a really funny concept, though. It's a really, really funny concept that there's multiple stuff. But that's just another idea. Really entertaining, though. I was really, really entertained with that movie. But just another movie. When I used to be seeking, there's no one, but in the story of seeking, I get caught up in movies, and I would get really kind of like when I saw Matrix, I was really kind of like what do you call it? Convinced that I'm in a matrix, that I have to get out of the matrix, that this is a simulation. I was kind of like waiting by my computer for someone to. I thought I was Neo. So when when there's a collapse of all belief, of all understanding, I'm like, silly. But it's just what's happening, silly or not. So all of this fantasy, all of these ideas are just seen as empty. Yeah, I love that film too, Sam. I think I watched it like 3 times, in the movie theater when it came out. Exposing my age here. Ageless. Yeah, it was really good. I really like that idea of um um see the idea of bondage and being liberated, that there's something got to be something better than this. Is the suffering, the fantasy, and that there is something better than this, is the pain, the identification that I have to be free. I am not free. the ideas, the error, you know what I'm saying? There's just a tiny error, you know what I'm saying? There's no one really free because there's nothing to be free. It's all freedom. But when the idea comes that this is not free, that's also freedom. Who cares? Yes, the hopeless, actually, there's a quote talking about movies. There's a quote in Fight Club. I really love that movie. That when it's hopeless, I can't remember the quote. I can't remember what it is. When everything is hopeless, then it becomes freedom or something like that. When hope ends, then it's free. Because the one that's hoping is the one that suffers. When it's seen that there's no hope because there's no one that can have hope, then there's this collapse of time because there's no time. So how can hope happen if there's no time? How can even seeking appear if there's no time? No more hippie hope. Talking about that, that was kind of funny. I should write a book about seeking. It's because seeking and teaching and all that kind of stuff. There was a time that I believed in ascension, the 5D and all that kind of stuff. The channeling. I used to build a Merkaba ship. Nothing wrong or right about that. It's just what is. But it was funny. Hey, this and that.
Hey, Emerson.
Hi.
Great stuff. Thank you. I didn't know the Jim.
Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you there. Just a second.
Okay, can you hear me then?
Can you hear him? Or is it just me? Okay, go ahead. There we go, yeah.
Yeah, this is great stuff. I didn't know the Grim Reaper could be so handsome.
Oh, thank you.
Get that from all the ladies. So let's see if I there's no understanding. There's this itch to vocalize this because I feel like death is right here. And so all is good. Sleep, no problem, like they say, no problemo. Then awakening occurs, suffering is there, the sense of I. But what I'm feeling is that this is just kind of like a movie clicks on, and then there's meaning, there's mission to communicate, to understand, and all day long, then sleep occurs. But I guess the timelessness is it's an empty screen, and then this is what's being projected right now, and I'm trying to make sense out of all this.
Yeah.
But really, because everything that I say, everything that you say, you can't know anything because every single word is inherently empty. And I'm scratching to this itch or desire, but it's just a hologram screen, and there's just words, but
Yeah.
nothing happens.
Nothing happening. It's kind of like, how can a hologram figure out it's a hologram? It can't. because interacts with everything that it interacts with is a hologram. It can't figure it out. It's a hologram. Everything that it does is a hologram. Everything that interacts with is a hologram. So the hologram can't get out of the hologram because everything that it does or thinks is a hologram. It's an illusion. Yeah. Thank you. And that's just another story. Yes, Kane um what's the movie? Fight Club. Tyler and the narrator are the same. Yes, they're nothing. Fictional. Wow. When there was this seeing, that's I think I've said that word. Just all I could say is wow, wow, unconditional wow. Thank you so much, everyone. This is the end of the second session. We will be back in an hour. Apparently, although there's no another, it's what is. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Emerson. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
There'll be
Enjoy
a
your break.
breakout room, and I'll see you guys.